And look, the Palaszczuk government seems set on punishing the coal industry up in Queensland. And the last time I checked, Matt, there's an Olympic Games up there in 2032, and there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built. Will solar panels and wind turbines replace the coal revenue?
No, it won't, Jake. And you're right. The budget's currently being funded on this, over $6 billion a year coming in from thanks to coal, $1.5 billion from gas. But this is they're the golden eggs. You know, they're the legacy of the golden goose that was nurtured and raised many decades ago. And so this tax is not going to stop those golden eggs overnight. But if we keep this sort of rubbish up, we won't have that golden goose anymore, and we'll have to be borrowing money just to pay for basic things, let alone be able to put on an Olympic Games. We've got to get back in this country to doing productive things, doing stuff that people want, not just things that we think we desire. We've got to make things that like coal, like that people want. Like, we've got record prices of coal right now, and recently the International Energy Agency looked at this and said, at these sort of coal prices, you would expect to see a big surge in investment in coal in Australia. Instead, we're not seeing that, and a big part of that is because we've got governments like the Labor Party here in Queensland that don't welcome that investment, they don't support the coal industry, and therefore we're going to get fewer jobs in mining.
Well, that's right, and the power shortages we experienced on the east coast of Australia this year, I think, acted as a wake-up call for many who have long advocated the closure of coal-fired power stations. Matt, I think the majority of Australians agree that we need cheap and reliable baseload power, but it's those in government who seem keen to keep up the renewable energy talk. Would that be correct?
Well, look, there has been a surge of people thinking that renewable energy is clean and green, and so some politicians are just sheep, just going along with that. They don't really know what they're doing. They certainly don't know how energy is made. There's another more nefarious element that are clearly investing a lot, or some people on the fringe of politics are investing a lot in renewable energy. They've got a lot of money at stake, so they're the biggest rent seekers going around this country right now, and they're making those profits on the backs of the bills, the high power bills that you have to pay. But as you say, more and more people are waking up to this because we're a country blessed with all of these energy resources. How was it this winter that we nearly had the lights go out? And the only reason we kept them on is because we actually paid factories to shut down. So, and that's going to come into your power bills later this year. The bill hasn't been all added up yet. But over these last few months, when power was very tight, when this thing called winter came along, it was quite cold and dark at night. We had lots of problems just keeping enough power in the system. So what happened was we went to smelters and refineries and said, hey, if we pay you this much money, will you shut the business off? They did that. And so this is the madness of the modern Australian economy. We're borrowing money from overseas, borrowing money from China, to then pay productive businesses not to produce the wealth that we need to pay that debt back and leave a legacy to our children that is not just debt.